Hey everyone, it's Sammy from Push Square, and I've been playing Sprint Vector when I haven't been feeling like death. And if you haven't been following this game, it's super fun. It's essentially a virtual reality racing game, and it's clearly been inspired visually by the likes of Jet Set Radio and some of those old Sega Dreamcast games. The amazing thing about this game is that it moves fast, like really fast, and frankly it makes a mockery out of all the games that are scared to give you full locomotion in virtual reality, because I've been playing this and I haven't felt one single pang of motion sickness in a handful of hours with the game really. So I'm going to get into my impressions of this game in this video, but before I do, please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel for more PSVR content. Also, I've actually got a couple of PS4 codes for this game to give away, so if you make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you just leave a comment saying you want to enter the competition or whatever, I'll pick two random winners at random, and I'll pin a note in the comments section if you're visiting this video late, so you know that the competition's closed and who the winners were. With all that said, let's get into it.
Looks like we'll be racing in a winter wonderland out here on Asgard Beta.
Ooh, I'd hate to be down there in the snow instead of up here in the heated booth.
Okay, so Sprint Vector, I'd heard positive things, but it's kinda blown me away. Now, there arguably isn't a whole lot of meat to this game. There are 12 tracks, there is also 9 challenge courses, and you can play in single player or multiplayer, there's leaderboards, there's all that stuff. You can plow through all the races quite quickly actually, but the fun comes from learning each of the courses. Now, while there are only 12 tracks, there are tons and tons of different routes you can take through these tracks. There are shortcuts you can learn, and they all have a lot of visual variety, and there's a lot of replay value in the game despite it feeling slightly bare bones on the surface. But the beauty of this game is the way that it plays. Now, Sprint Vector is unlike anything I've experienced in PlayStation VR before, and that's because, as you know, and as I said at the top of this video, so many games have struggled with locomotion in virtual reality. We've seen so many different solutions, from teleporting to direct control to slow movement speeds. Developers seem terrified of giving you full control of your character because they're scared of making you feel motion sick. Now, I know that virtual reality affects people in different ways, and maybe there'll be people who play Sprint Vector who do end up feeling sick, but I haven't felt, like I said earlier, one single pang of motion sickness while I've been playing this, which is amazing because you're sprinting at literally 40 miles an hour or so. And the way the game works is you hold a PlayStation Move controller in each hand and you pump your arms kind of like you're skiing or rowing a boat or something like that. You basically pull the trigger down at the top of your pump, and then you throw your arm down and you let go of the trigger when you're at the bottom of your swing, and then you do this alternately between your two arms, so you're making like a running motion. This feels so unbelievably satisfying. It's crazy. This game is super cool. So it feels great when you're running, but obviously there's more to the game than running. So you can brake on one sort of motion controller and you'll drift, and then you can sort of sprint into the drift and push yourself around the corner. If you press the move buttons and make similar motions, you can jump and then you can double jump. There are also climbing walls that you need to kind of climb up. There are power-ups that you collect in the level, Mario Kart style, so you can fire like rockets at your opponents and stuff like that. And this all creates for just really entertaining gameplay. And when you couple it with the tracks, which are very crazy, very unique, some of them have big platforming sections, some of them are more straight up sprints, some of them have lots of climbing areas to them, so there's a bit of verticality and you're kind of leaping off big ledges and like diving to the ground. You can also fly by sort of making a superhero motion, and you can steer in the air, so you can get like air time, and sometimes there are boosts in the middle of the air that you need to fly through. So gameplay wise, this is outstanding, and I think every virtual reality developer needs to be looking at this game and figuring out what it's doing that no one else has figured out, because like I say, the movement speed is intense. It feels fast when you're in the headset. It's not Wipeout levels of speed, but it does feel fast. And there are a lot of visual effects that they use to convey a real sense of speed. But it feels fast, but it doesn't feel like you're going to be sick at all. It feels very comfortable, and like I said, it's very satisfying. Now, it is quite physical. You know, pumping your arms physically up and down does take its toll on you. I was sweating last night playing this game, actually. But, you know, I find that fun, and you can find a rhythm with the controls where I think when I first started playing it, I was really pumping my arms really fast trying to get up that speed, but once you find out the kind of rhythm to the game, you don't have to put in quite as much physical effort, but you still get the same good results. Now, I haven't tried online multiplayer just yet, but if the netcode is good, then you're looking at a seriously outstanding game here, because I can imagine myself playing a lot of online multiplayer of this, so hopefully it develops a nice and sizable community, because that is a problem with virtual reality games that have a multiplayer focus. Sometimes they don't get the kind of community they need to support it, but even offline in single player, it's just really fun. I'm just having fun learning the levels, and sort of taking different routes through the levels. But not just that, like, it's fun when you nail a drift or you nail a jump and you kind of fly into the next boost pad or whatever. This game is really good. Now, in addition to the 12 main stages, the main races, there are also some challenge courses which add a little bit of extra replayability. So the challenge courses are basically simpler stages, and there are kind of 3 modes to each of these. So the first one is just a straightforward time trial, and you unlock stars based on the time you take to complete it. Then there's another one where you have to kind of collect coins or tokens, and these add time to your run, and you know, the goal is to collect them all basically as quickly as you can. And then the third one is like a hardcore version where you're constantly in like a super speed mode. Makes it a lot more difficult. You have to be a lot more precise with your motions. But yeah, I think the simple act of just movement in this game is groundbreaking, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw other VR developers riff on this concept, because it's really fun the way you move. Like, it's really fun. That pump your arm motion is just super fun, and it's managing to convey a sense of speed without creating any motion sickness issues at all. I would love someone who's 10 times more intelligent than me to play this game, and to do an analysis on what it's doing, because no VR developer, I feel like VR developers are still trying to figure out locomotion and movement in virtual reality, yet this game seems to have figured everything out straight away. Like, it just feels right, it feels satisfying to move, it feels comfortable to move, and it's not giving me any motion sickness. I'll be really interested to hear from you guys when you play it, whether you get any motion sickness from this game, because it's fine for me. And visually it looks nice. I think the Jet Set Radio style aesthetic, it can look a little bit cheap, a little bit. I think some of the characters don't look great in my opinion, but I like what they're going for, and there's quite a nice future sports feel. When you start the game, when you first launch it, the kind of intro sequence sees you sprint out into a stadium, and there's like a presenter on a big hovercraft type thing, and it gives you a good sense of scale, and all the levels actually have a really good sense of scale to them. There's one that's like in a sewage type environment, like a toxic sewage type area, and that has a really massive sense of scale to it, lots of big pipes and stuff like that, and all the levels have got quite a lot of visual variety to them. There's like an Egyptian type level with lots of like tombs and stuff like that. There's a snow level, there's the toxic level that I've just mentioned there. So yeah, I'm really impressed with this game. Now, if you want to know a little more structured impressions of this, Liam reviewed it for pushsquare.com, so that review is live on the site now. I'll link it up in the description if you want to read that. and that gives you a little more detail of the nuts and bolts of the game and stuff like that. Sorry this video was a little bit rushed. The reason that it is because I was planning to make a proper video review for Sprint Vector, and I wasn't able to because I got the flu last week, and this is obviously quite a physically demanding game, so I wasn't able to play it as much as I would have liked, but my impressions are super positive. I really like this game, and I think it's promising for VR in general because this developer seems to have figured out locomotion in a way that no other developer seems to have been able to thus far, which is awesome. So yeah, like I said at the start of the video, do like the video, subscribe, and if you leave a comment saying you want to enter the competition or whatever, like I said, I do have 2 PSVR codes to give away for this game. I'll give those away in a few days. If you're watching this video at a later date, then do check the comment section. I'll pin a comment saying who won, so that you know that the competition's over. Other than that, let me know if you're going to pick up Sprint Vector in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry this video was a bit rambly and a bit unstructured, but yeah, I do have my excuses for that. I haven't been feeling well, and yeah, thank you so much for watching.
That's the race, folks!
I'm ready for another one.
You heard the lady racers. Let's go again!